So just being upfront, during an initial water treatment process, what we're testing for is calcium hardness, total alkalinity, your pH, your chlorine, your cyanuric acid levels, your total dissolved solids, your phosphates, the whole nine. It'll take us roughly 3 days to optimize your chemistry to a perfectly balanced state. After this, it's just maintenance. The two main chemicals that we're testing for on a week to week is pH and chlorine. On a bi-weekly basis, we're testing total alkalinity. On a 1 to 2 month cycle, we're testing conditioner. Once the startup is complete, you'll have the liberty to go swimming. You have about a week of leniency before you have to start adding chemicals into your pool again. The reason you're adding chemicals is to keep it crystal clear. So once we fully optimize your chemistry, all you have to do is take a simple test strip, quickly dip it into the water and wait 15 seconds to compare results, which will then give you the information needed to balance your water perfectly. The first thing we're testing for is your calcium hardness. Calcium hardness is important because if it's too low, this will make your plaster. The first thing we're testing for is your calcium hardness. The reason we need that in parameters between 200 to 400 parts per million is because if it's too low, it'll begin to pull calcium from your plaster finish. If it's too high, everything will begin to calcify. The next is your total chlorine, which is in comparison to your free chlorine. The reason that right now it's testing a little higher than normal is because we had to do a shock treatment because it's fresh water. After this, we would typically want it between a 5 to 10 part per million range. The next thing would be your potential hydrogen, your pH. The pH needs to be in line at a perfect 7.4 on a week to week in order to maintain perfect chemistry. The reason you want your pH in line is because that's what helps maximize your chlorine efficiency. The next thing would be your total alkalinity. Your total alkalinity in a standard chlorine pool, you'd want it between 80 to 120 parts per million. If you opted in for the salt pool, your parameters are going to be closer to 80 parts per million because that salt generator makes the water more alkaline by itself. The last chemical we test for is cyanuric acid. Cyanuric acid typically wants to be in between 30 to 100 parts per million. 100 being too high, 30 being a little low. Ideally, 70 parts per million.